Content warning, y'all. We have lots of fun making this podcast, but remember, we watch a lot of R-rated films, use language that reflects that, and joke about heavy topics to create levity around these themes. If that doesn't feel safe or could be triggering, please take care of yourself. We want you to have fun listening too. This also means we might not be suitable for children. Oh yeah, and we spoil the end of all the movies we pod about. Thanks for listening.
I am ready to talk about smoke signals.
Okay, that's cool.
I will try very hard not to imitate
Thank you.
Arnold's
Thank you.
accent. Arnold in particular. Right?
Yeah.
No.
Mm-hmm. No, it's Thomas, right?
Thomas. Arnold is Gary Farmer.
Yeah. It was like Arnold and Arlene or something was Victor's mom and dad.
Oh.
They have like a very similar.
Oh.
It's like Arnold and Arnell or something. It was weird.
Urkel.
Mm-hmm.
Urkel grew.
Urkel grew.
Yeah, you're right. Arlene.
Yeah.
Played by Tantu Cardinal.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like a Star Wars name. Sorry.
Sorry.
I didn't make George Lucas.
Your phone's doing something. I don't know what your phone's doing, but it's doing something.
Yeah.
Smoke signals, yeah.
What'd you think?
I was fine.
This is the
You
podcast
lost
now.
your shit
I did?
once he cut his hair.
Oh my God.
And so it was a little hard for me I was like trying to actually watch the movie and you just kept laughing and like grabbing me. And I was like, just let me watch the movie.
I'm so sorry.
It was just,
Didn't know.
it was just that I'm so used to recognizing wigs. Like I was more upset by fucking Arnold's poorly done lace front at the beginning of the movie because
That's fair enough. Yeah, it's the same wig he had on Powwow Highway.
No. I think
This 10-year-old wig.
I think Victor's wig was the same wig he had on Powwow Highway. Here's the thing though, about like it looked like he had a wig during half of the movie and the rest of it looked like he didn't. And I was confused. And I was like, did he cut his hair off halfway through the movie or yeah, whatever. Anyway. Yeah. There's an interesting trivia that I want to read.
Really? No, I mean, I didn't. I just looked at them and I didn't find any of them interesting. So I'm wondering what I missed. That's all. What?
Nothing. I mean, there's several interesting to me. It's the first movie to be written, directed, and co-produced by Native Americans. The first movie. That's insane to me.
Yeah, which I wonder which one of those Powwow Highway did not fulfill co-production. Probably.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about
maybe
the director.
Directed. Yeah. Okay, the song "All My Relations," performed by Eulalie, I don't know if I'm saying it right, at the end of the film, uses the traditional Irish tune "Gary Owen." The tune was a favorite of acting General George Armstrong Custer during the Civil War and became the official air of the U.S. 7th Cavalry Regiment in 1867. According to legend, it was the last tune played before the Battle of Little Bighorn, where Custer and his entire regiment were killed. I like that. I enjoyed that. That's a good little bit of trivia.
Yeah.
Like you, Custer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this was an interesting one. I think something that it does that I kind of enjoy is that it doesn't solve anything. It addresses the issues, but it doesn't, it like acknowledges the difficulty of it all. And like the poem he reads at the end that Thomas, is it? No. Yeah? What's his? Oh.
It's Thomas and Victor.
Yeah, Thomas, the one that he reads at the end. That was written by
Dan Laurie or something.
Yeah, Dick Laurie. The poem recited at the end of the movie is "Forgiving Our Fathers" by Dick Laurie. I don't know. It was interesting because it's like, yeah, there's a lot of like again, I don't have like a big, I'm working on reconnecting. So I don't want to speak for or over people that I shouldn't be or whatever. Or whatever. But there is like a lot of, like it made me think of this. There's, the Vagina Monologues has like, basically a section where it's talking about like, Indigenous men, being exploited essentially and made to be like having everything taken from them, and then they're just angry and drunk, because that's all they can be, and it ends with them saying like, you took our sons or you took our men, we want them back. That's how the Vagina Monologues, monologue ends. And it just kept making me think of that because like it deals a lot with like generational trauma and like drinking and forgiveness and the complications of, like the fact that he ended up starting the fire that killed Thomas's parents and went back for his own kid, and then he gets credit for saving Thomas,
right.
But it's like in his mind, I don't know, maybe I'm misreading this part, but like in his mind, like he didn't go back for Thomas. He just ended up catching Thomas as they threw him out the window. So in his mind, he didn't really save time. He prioritized his own kid. He prioritized himself, all of these things. And so there was like, he had like love and affection for his kid, but he couldn't look at his kid without seeing the things that he did. He couldn't live his life without thinking of what he did, And, in the end, he dies alone. He dies without his family, all that stuff. And, there's not...
He didn't mean to.
Huh?
He didn't mean to.
Right. And I don't know. It was like heavier than I was expecting it to be, but it was also not as like complicated. I don't know. Like they don't try to fix anything. And that was like really something that I appreciated out of it. I appreciate that it wasn't very complicated. It stars, it's Adam Beach
As Victor.
Evan Adams as Thomas builds the fire, Irene Bedard as Susie Song, Gary Farmer, and Tantu Cardinal as Victor's parents. Yeah. Yeah, it was just like, and then Michael Grey Eyes is in it.
Who's he?
He's in. I mean, he's in. He's in Blood Quantum and Rutherford Falls. And
okay.
He's just like a really famous Indigenous actor.
I saw that the director Chris Ayres or whatever it is, Ayres.
I
think directed an episode of Dark Winds. Which is another.
I clicked on Michael Grey Eyes IMDb, and it says he is a graduate of Canada's National Ballet School.
Oh, hell yeah.
And went on to apprentice with the National Ballet of Canada. Wow. Ballet, I never would have, I mean, no offense, I just never would have. I guess I don't assume anyone is in ballet.
Yeah, why would you?
I don't know why.
And John Trudell was a DJ.
Yeah.
And I know he's just a name I've seen. Like he was somewhere in Power Highway, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna look and see. Yeah, it's this
He's also in Thunderheart.
Oh shit. So is every there's like 5 Indigenous actors.
Right. Also in Dreamkeeper, which apparently Gary Farmer and somebody else from this movie are in as well.
He's in Power Highway. He's Louis Shorthair.
Yeah, what? Who?
I love that. Yeah, well, yeah. Louis Shorthair.
He's got some soundtrack credits.
We were talking about, because at one point they're singing about John Wayne's teeth.
Real quick, John Trudell was national chairman for American Indian Movement in 1973.
Damn.
Which was, I think, the same year as the... Mm-hmm. Right? Or was that 72?
No, 73, I believe. Wounded Knee or whatever. Is that what it is? No. Yeah. No. I don't know. What?
I can't remember. I'm sorry. I'm trying to remember as well.
Shit. Yeah, I think. Whatever.
Is it not where Custard was sacked?
That was
Little Bighorn.
Yeah. Yeah, but
You're right. It's Wounded Knee. Sorry.
Little Bighorn. You're right. It's
the other one.
Yeah, they're on the bus and they're talking about John Wayne, how you never see his teeth, and then they just make a song about like, and it's so good, and they're singing it, and it's so like this is like something that I appreciate so much, like Indigenous jokes, like we love to do basically like dad jokes, like that's our thing. Like there was one where they'd be like, Indians discovered barbed wire. Yeah, it's on the back of that guy's truck.
What the fuck?
Like we discovered it on, it's like stupid shit like that where like you're saying something and then it's just like,
it's like making fun of colonialism.
Yeah, it's making fun of colonialism, but it's also like just like puns almost, you're just like doing, it's ridiculous. Right. But my favorite, like this is honestly one of my favorites ever. I was at a powwow and I was younger. I was probably like 9 or 10, something like that, maybe a little younger. And, I wasn't like quite in on it. So, the adults around me were like, hey, by the way, this is what's going on. And, they had like the circle going and they have, cause like, at a powwow, basically what happens is there's like, I don't know if it's continuous, but near continuous, there's like a drum and then they surround like a circle. They surround it, and then they beat on it and they sing. And I think they'll like switch out. You know, they have like a ton of people, so sometimes they'll like switch out. But like, it was so good. They were singing traditional style. Okay, they were singing. God, it's so ridiculous. I can't do it justice, and I wish that I had it recorded or somewhere. But they're like beating on the drum, and it's just like they're singing traditional style. They're just saying, Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, Donald too. They all work at Disneyland. Hey, they're singing that, and I swear to God, like once it was like, this is what they're saying. I was like, oh my God, that is what they're saying. And I was like a kid, and I was like, oh my God. And then I'm like watching, and like white people are like, listen, oh, do you hear that? There's, you know, and I was like howling. I was like, it clicked. I was like, oh my God, this is like really funny. I'm like, this is so good. Like, this is like humor. This is like, yeah, I was like, this is like smart humor. I'm like, yeah. Not everyone's in on the joke, and the joke is like on white people. I was like, oh, I feel something. I feel something in this place.
Yes.
I feel a connection to my people.
I'm going to chase this high.
Yeah, basically. And it was just like.
And I basically do that.
Yeah, that's what happens in the movie. And I was like laughing so hard, and I was like, this is.
Because it goes for them, two of them just singing it on the bus.
To the
soundtrack being a traditional style
and
song with the same words.
John Wayne's teeth, they are John Wayne's teeth. Hey, hey, hey. Are they false? Are they real? Are they plastic? Are they steel? Hey, hey, hey.
Are they plastic? Are they steel? Hey, hey, hey. John Wayne's teeth, John Wayne's teeth, are they plastic, are they steel?
It's so good, and it's just like, it's classic us, classic, and it's just, we like fucking with you.
Yeah, of course.
We love fucking with you. So that really...
You felt represented there?
I did. I was like, yes, we do this shit. We love doing this shit. We love making fun of... We love doing shit like... Just like when... Like in the Parks and Recs episode. When he's like...
Yes.
Hurry-o, hurry-o. And he's just like... Poof, and he blows it in his face. And he's like, the curse is broken. He's just saying shit. And he's like... Yeah. And the whole time, like, you're in on it. That's exact. Yeah, right. It's just like, fine, whatever. He's like, one thing I know, white people afraid of curse.
Fucking the dramatic reenactment that's animated.
That's exactly how it happened. It's so fucking good. It's so fucking good. Yeah, it's a pretty straightforward film. You know, it's just Victor's dad dies. Like, Victor's dad leaves or has left a long time ago, and he dies, and then Victor has to basically like go get his remains, and that's it, you know. And he like learns a little bit about his dad, and that's pretty much it. Yeah. And I don't want to say like it's definitely worth a watch, and it's definitely important to watch it. I think it does really subtly talk about like, you know, drinking, you know, like alcohol, and I don't know, like it was always sort of presented to me that like being indigenous, you know, meant that you had a higher propensity to be an alcoholic.
Right.
Which really scared me.
Definitely that.
Yeah, there's that
sort of stereotype.
Yeah, right. And, you know, I have a lot of alcoholics in my family, And so I was like, oh, I'm destined, and I have none of that.
Right.
I was very much convinced that I was.
Well, and then it turns out it's really just poverty and oppression.
Correct.
That
Yeah,
lead
but that's
to...
the thing. Like once you start learning about this, like it's not actually like, you know, the reason why like indigenous people seem, or like especially like you know people on a reservation, people with little to nothing. The reason why alcoholism is so high is because they don't have anything else. And
Right.
like liquor store, like it's food deserts. And what happened, like in a food desert, where do you go? The liquor store. Like that's where you get your, like there's so many things that happen that cause that. And it's like, it's not an accident. It's not genetics.
No.
It is purposefully done.
It's genocide.
Yes, correct. It's like what do you call it? It's like quiet genocide or something where it's like slow. Like it just happens like,
attrition.
Huh?
Like attrition.
Yeah, there's like a term for it. I mean, it's like literally like a white supremacist term. I forget what it is. But
Replacement theory.
it's just like, just like it happens slowly and like it's not an accident. Like it's not unintentional.
Right.
Is what I mean. And so I think it's important. What I appreciated about the movie is that it shows how it affects their life, but it doesn't make the whole thing about the alcoholism.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like, oh, it's the drinking that did it. It's like he was complicated and he, it was just interesting. And I really it's hard, like there's so much more that I want to learn about, my history. Obviously, I'm from a different tribe than the, one this movie is based on. So, but also, like, oh my God, Thomas. It's just autism.
100%.
The fact that he can't tell a story without closing his fucking eyes, I was like, oh my God. They're like, tell me a story. And he's like, okay. And he's just eyes closed. Oh my God. And then he like falls asleep like in the middle of telling a story. He's like falling asleep and shit like that. Like there's one where he's like, or no, maybe it's when she was telling the story. He just like falls asleep, I'm like, yeah, we got that processing issues. Yeah.
Why did your dad leave? Does he hate you?
Oh my God. It's
and then he gets punched in the face and he's like, but why did he leave?
Why did Arnold stop? Just don't. It's so good. And he's just like, such like a goober, and he has to wear his hair that same way. I love that.
And his suit.
Yeah, he has to wear the suit, and he has to wear his hair that way.
He wears a vest over a buttoned-up shirt.
My favorite thing. Well, he also has like a
jacket sometimes,
suit jacket. I love that he is like, you got to stop wearing, that outfit. You have to. Yeah. And it lasts like one time.
One scene.
He gets back to it. That was my favorite. I was like, he did not, which I love that.
And nothing changes. Like it doesn't.
Nothing changes. Like it doesn't, like his personality doesn't, nothing changes.
I mean, you get this reveal and it's supposed to be like a glow up or whatever.
Yeah. And then he just goes right back to where I was like, beautiful. I love that.
As soon as they get to where they're going, as soon as they get to Arizona or get off the bus, then
he's back to normal. Which I'm like, that's so accurate.
He's in his backpack.
Yeah, probably
just suits?
Yeah, probably just the
All the way down?
jacket. It's probably just the jacket because it's not the money.
Right.
No, it's interesting. Like the movie's really interesting, and I think I wasn't expecting it to have. Yeah, I thought it was going to be more about like res life. I thought it was going to be more about like just like learning to appreciate what you have or whatever, something like that. But yeah, it was
Some bullshit.
some dumb. Yeah. It's why, I thought I'd seen some of it before, and like watching it, nothing looked familiar, and I was like, oh, I guess I have not seen any of it before. Although they do this thing, like the shot that I used on Instagram for the month preview of what we're gonna play, and there's a scene in it where he's like sort of flashing through like memories of his dad and like of the trip and stuff like that. Susie's song in it, like she's wearing like a tie-dye shirt, and like that is not anywhere.
I remember seeing the tie-dye shirt in a flashback.
In like a flashback, but I'm like, that never happened.
The shirt she's in on the cover, I don't remember ever seeing her wear.
Right, yeah.
And that's the thing, I'm like, why is she, I mean, I get it, she's a draw or something because she's attractive, but, and maybe people knew who she was.
Yeah,
but like,
I think she was.
She's less of a character. Why isn't Gary fucking Farmer or anything?
I know. Yeah, that was weird to me.
N2 Cardinal is a bigger
Yeah,
role.
it's weird. I loved Thomas and his grandma, though.
Yeah.
That shit was so cute.
Thomas steals the show. He's
Oh,
the star
for
of the
sure.
show.
He's so good.
And what's the actor's name?
Adam
Evan
Evans or something. What'd you say? Evan Adams. Oh, Evan Adams. Yeah.
Yeah, Evan Adams.
Adam Evans. I said it. I was like, it doesn't sound right, but I know those are the right names.
I was equally convinced that I had.
Yeah. That you'd fucked it up.
Yeah. Anyway, he's great.
Yeah, he is. It is, yeah, I enjoyed this. And Adam Beach, it's wild because I didn't know Adam Beach was in this until we decided to do.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I had no idea because...
It's the first time I saw him, because I saw this.
Right. I remember he was in, like, some Nicolas Cage movie or something like that, and he got really, like a lot of attention because he played, like is it Code Talkers, in the war?
Yeah.
It was like a movie about that, and he got a lot of attention. And he, does a lot of campaigns because his parents, were killed by drunk drivers.
Oh.
I think around Christmas time or something.
Oh.
So he campaigns at Christmas time to not to drink and drive and stuff like that. I can't remember exactly what he does, but he talks about getting a driver, things like that. Don't get behind the wheel if you've been drinking.
Mother killed by a drunk driver and his alcoholic father drowned only weeks afterward.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's different than mine.
Then he and his brothers went to live with their grandmother in Winnipeg. So he's Canadian First Nations too.
Yeah. I assumed that most of the people in this were. Because I think...
Yeah, I mean... Sorry, go on.
I think Gary Farmer also?
Wind Talkers is the film.
Wind Talkers, that's what
Nick
it is.
Cage, is he?
Yeah.
I don't know about...
Maybe
Farmer.
he's not in it. Maybe I'm wrong.
What?
I said maybe I'm wrong. Did
About
you say
what?
Nicolas Cage isn't in it?
No.
Oh, okay.
I said that's the one you're talking about.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Born in Ontario.
Gary Farmer?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cayuga Nation and Wolf Clan.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah.
So, go figure.
Yeah. And Gray Eyes, he's Canadian too. So this was probably... I mean, it said he went to the Canadian ballet school or whatever.
Right.
So.
We were talking about Graham Greene.
Yeah. Graham.
Graham.
Graham Greene. Yeah, this is wild to think that this was like one of the first like indigenous. Yeah, I remember it was a big deal, and I'm annoyed that I never got to see it. Like that my mom never prioritized us watching this. Come on, Mom. It's because of all the wind and rain kept us from being able to get good reception. Inside jokes.
I mean, I know his name, but I don't recognize Michael Grey Eyes.
You know his name, but what?
I don't recognize him.
Really?
Yeah.
Not from the movie?
No, who was he in the movie?
He was one of the basketball players.
Oh, okay.
And he was wearing the shirt that said NDN Pride.
That's what it said, yeah.
What's NDN mean?
The one who said Geronimo would have been the best basketball player, Indian basketball player.
No.
That scene?
I mean, in that scene.
He's the other guy that doesn't have any lines?
No. No, I was saying, he didn't say Geronimo. Victor said Geronimo.
Okay.
And he was like, Geronimo? He was little.
Oh, right.
Hey, Victor, who do you think is the greatest basketball player ever?
That's easy, Geronimo.
Geronimo? He couldn't play basketball, man. He was Apache, man. Those suckers are about 3 feet tall.
It's Geronimo, man. He was lean, mean, and bloody. Would have dunked on your flat Indian ass and cut it off.
Anyhoo.
It's weird that it's called smoke signals, though.
Right.
When there's
No reference to that at all.
no reference, but also that's not what the novel's called that it's based on.
Well, the novel's title is far too wordy.
That's fine, but like
They should call it Cowboys Always Win.
they should call.
Best fried bread in the world.
Oh yeah, I like that. Oh man, yeah.
It's okay.
It's okay. Yeah, I haven't had. I haven't had fried bread in so long, and yeah.
To be honest, a part of me wants to learn how to make it and then get good at it, but then also I'm like, that seems shitty.
Yeah. I mean, it's okay. I will say this. I hate cooking.
Yeah.
So you'd be doing it for me,
That's
your
fair.
indigenous partner who
Right.
eats bread.
I mean,
that's all.
I got good at making Mexican food because
Yeah.
of...
Because you were married to a Mexican.
That sounds so...
It does. It sounds like I'm being racist, but that's the reality of it.
Yeah, it's the combo of... Anywho.
Right. Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like, your desire to learn it isn't so that
I'm
you
not
can
Rick
be better.
Bayless over here, am I right?
What? You're not what?
Rick Bayless.
Who's that?
He's a white person who... You know, he's one of those celebrity chefs that has a whole lot... Frontera.
Huh?
You know the brand Frontera?
Oh.
Yep.
Oh, my God.
He traveled all around Mexico and gathered up recipes. So you know they're all
Fucking-
authentic.
Is it the fucking Thug Kitchen or whatever? Like, there's like these white people that like have this like cooking brand or whatever called Thug Kitchen, where they like have like recipes, but like I think
Supposed to be like soul food or some shit?
I don't even know if it's that as much as like they call it like Thug Kitchen, and then like all the like they curse, you know, in like their books and stuff like that. They're not like clean.
Are they like cookbooks?
Yeah.
You're saying?
Yeah.
Or
And
recipes?
they like I think they like use like blue language or something. I don't fucking know. I don't know. But like they get a lot of flack because they're fucking white and they call it Thug Kitchen or
Good
whatever.
Lord.
And it's just terrible. Anyway, but you're not doing something like that. Like your desire to do it isn't to get better at natives than get better than natives at making fried
Well,
bread.
fair enough.
You know
Thank
what
you.
I mean? You're like, oh, I would like to do this thing that's part of your culture.
I also just want to eat it because I've never had it. And,
Yeah.
you know,
I mean,
it's hard to go wrong with fried dough.
I'm
figured.
not trying to shit talk my mom, and I feel bad. But my mom is not the best cook,
Mine wasn't either.
and like bless her, she's the kind of person that like if she doesn't completely ruin it. She thinks it's successful. Like, and so her fry bread is like some of the only fry bread I've had that's not like from like a carnival. And it's okay. Like, it's okay. It's just like, I remember being like, man, this isn't like the fry bread you get at, you know, the powwows and shit. But yeah, like.
It's my favorite story of Thomas's is about Eileen.
Yeah.
Irene?
Arlene.
Oh, no, you're right. Fuck. Sorry.
Arlene. Arlene. Anyway, yeah, the fry bread. Tearing it apart. I like that a lot.
Listen, she said. There are 100 Indians here and only 50 pieces of fry bread. Everybody was mad. There was gonna be a fry bread riot for sure. But then Arlene said, but I have a way to feed you all. She took a piece of fry bread, she held it over her head, and she ripped it in half.
Oh, that's a good story. Is that true? Is that true?
Although Susie kept being like, is that true?
Is that true?
Is that true? I'm
Man,
like,
that
girl, shut
character
up.
was annoying to me. Also, I didn't feel like it was acted that well.
Well, what was she given to act with?
Agree. And this is kind of my biggest complaint about this movie is Thomas is the only one that gets to a full character.
Yeah.
Arnold has more of a character, and he's just an absentee, abusive father. You know?
He smacks his kid around a bunch. Yeah.
He's gay, but he has a connection to magic. There are many things.
He's gay. I'm surprised that like watching it, I'm like, now if this movie was made now, Thomas would be the one that got all the poon. And Victor would be the one that was like, how do you get all the girls, even though you're a dork?
No one gets laid in this movie.
No one gets laid. At all.
Also, I thought I remembered that there was a lot more like romantic or sexual tension between Susie and Victor, which there's not. He's mostly just assumes especially at first, assumes that
she was fucking his dad.
Yeah, she and his dad had. I like when she's like, your dad's good looking.
Your dad was a good-looking guy, you know? He was giving me the eye. I mean, just a little bit, you know?
I know. I was like, oh, what? Huh? No offense.
No,
farmer,
I don't think he's unattractive. He's just by conventional
Western
I'm standards.
Like, what? Also, like, he was like old, and it was because she just said, I loved him like a father. And she was like, your dad was very attractive. And I'm like, I don't. Okay.
Did you love him?
What?
Did you love him?
Yes. He's like a father, I guess.
A father. He had you fooled too then, ain't it?
Like,
It's also unclear how old she's supposed to be.
Yeah, I know. Like, there was a lot of stuff. I'm like, she looks so young.
Right.
But she's supposed to be like, she was a nurse, and now she's like head of, I don't fucking,
Yeah.
head of administration or something, and
Hospital administrator.
oh, hospital.
That's right.
Oh,
And where are they? They're outside of Phoenix? Is that where it is?
something like that. Girl,
Gorgeous.
something like
The shooting location.
that. Oh
was
yeah,
gorgeous.
for sure.
And I got to tell you, and I'm sure it's because I grew up in Southern California and very surrounded by deserts.
Yeah.
I'm such a sucker for things shot in the desert at night where it's just like
Yeah,
unnatural lighting,
for sure. Yeah.
bright light,
Yeah,
and especially if you throw some colors.
yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Forget about
it. Yeah, I know. Girl, I know.
Okay, we're going to take a break real quick. Be right back. Some good goofs listed on this one.
Oh, shit.
There is no way that one bus driver could have driven the same bus continuously from Idaho to Arizona. Federal law would prohibit it.
Goof.
Thomas says Victor's dad looks like Charles Bronson in Death Wish, The Face of Death, 1994, the one where he fights the Asian gang. It is actually an Irish gang in that number.
Oh, shit.
The old pickup truck that leaves the Joseph house on the reservation has 10 lug rims, and when it is returned by Victor and Thomas, it has 5 lug rims on all 4 wheels. Obviously, it's a different truck. Boom!
Oh, my God.
Credibility destroyed. Verisimilitude unraveled.
Oh, my God. I love goofs because sometimes it's just like they'll be like, their hair is clearly longer in this scene that takes place later in the film, so it obviously wasn't the same actor. And you're like, that's not what? First of all, it's not a goof. Second of all, what? Like, it'll just be like insane theories.
Yeah.
I do love the fact that IMDb is like, we're not going to fact check any of this shit.
I know. It was all shot in Washington and Idaho.
Interesting.
So
Crazy.
none of the Arizona stuff was anywhere near Arizona.
Crazy.
I like that.
So this is coming out. This episode is coming out to you live. Just kidding. The weekend before Thanksgiving. And I just want to say that while I do partake in Thanksgiving food in the sense of eating a meal that's been specially prepared for that Pacific Day by
Make sure
my
not to
white partner.
Feel it all grateful.
I don't celebrate Thanksgiving. I don't really participate in it. And I especially don't participate in Black Friday or anything like that either. So
Racist.
thank you.
There's that anti-blackness amongst natives you'd like to refer to. Love bringing it up.
It's true. So yeah, I just want to put that out there that I'm better than you because I don't celebrate Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
I just have my white partner cook for me on Thanksgiving, which is different.
Which I do
than,
involuntarily.
Yeah, well, it's different than every other time my white partner cooks for me because it's a little bit more food.
Yep.
That's all.
A few more dishes
Yeah.
to clean.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't really.
We do, however, our household does celebrate Columbus Day.
I mean, by painting blood on the door, but like you would on Passover. Just so the spirit of Columbus doesn't enter. Yeah. You know, because like on Passover, you put blood over the door, so...
No, I understand what you're referring to.
Yeah, and then on Columbus Day, we celebrate by putting blood over the door so Columbus's spirit doesn't colonize my white partner. Body. I'm just surprised you don't think that's funny at all. I'm hilarious, and you should be showing me respect by laughing.
I just am learning that I should have a fear that I could be possessed by
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah.
Cristobal Colon. That's his name.
Cristobal?
Yeah.
Cristobal.
In Spanish or Italian or whatever he's supposed to originally.
Amazing.
Yeah. Christopher Columbus is an anglicized.
Yeah.
Because those foreign Italians, so different.
Yeah. Yeah.
English speakers couldn't handle.
This is a thing that's like insane to me. And I guess, I mean, it still happens today in a lot of different ways, but I think the like colonization, just like, it's so foreign to me to have a desire to just like, and I think what it is like, I think people think of it as like, I guess I should say, I think white people often think of it as like going to a place that's like uncivilized, which is a reason why that word's problematic. And like being sort of like better than the people there, and then like taking over because like they're too dumb to know better.
Imagine.
Huh?
Imagine.
Yeah. And shit like that, where it's like you see it as like this thing where like someone who has more resources comes in and takes over because they're more knowledgeable about all of these things that, you know. But in reality, what it is like you go to this place that doesn't belong to you and you see that people are there and you say, I don't care.
You say, oops.
And then you continue. And if they say, okay, no, this is our shit, you don't get to come in here, then you don't just kill them, you like rape them and torture them and enslave them. Like, I can't, and like,
I mean, what
the
else are you
darker someone's skin, the more, you know, you can do to them, or the, you know, it's just like, I've no, like, it's so, I can't imagine. Like, I don't even want to hurt someone's feelings. You know what I mean? Like, if someone I don't even know, like, if someone I don't even know is like, that hurt my feelings, I'm like, I can't imagine being like,
yeah, because you recognize that they also are human.
Well,
and the whole history of particularly Western European and
yeah.
You know, how war works in the present day. And by present day, I mean, I don't know, since we presumably had the Enlightenment.
Yeah.
Is the amazing, I mean, this is the real testament to human ingenuity, is the mental gymnastics that have to be done to convince yourself that another group of people are not human.
Right.
That's the only way war and genocide and large scale like oppression happens, is that, I mean, you know, initially, right? You know, we're for instance, you know, me as a white person in the U.S., I don't have to think about that, and oppression happens.
Yeah.
I can see humanity in everyone.
Yeah.
And yet they're still oppressed.
Right. Yeah. Correct.
But like to establish, like what you're talking about, go to another place. Oh, these aren't humans. These
these
are apes who walk upright.
Yeah. You know? Yeah. I just, but like, even so, it's like, I mean, I'm not saying like, even if they're not human, that's not really what I mean. But like, I don't want to hurt animals.
Right.
I don't want to hurt anyone or anything, you know, like, I don't even want to cut down trees.
Right.
You know, I mean, granted, it's because, yes, I know that they are good for us. But, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, I don't want to take something that doesn't...
And this is why...
I don't want to take something that doesn't belong to me, but if something does belong to me, I want to take care of it. I don't want to just take it, you know? And it's so... And it's like...
And this is why we will never be rich.
Okay. That's fair.
Or probably even moderately
but also I want to say, this is why I have such a problem when people talk about, like, racism and like white supremacy as stupidity or a mental illness. I'm like, it's not those things.
Yeah, stupidity is not.
And
it is very careful and calculated.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like, I don't talk about it like a mental illness. Not in the same, because I'm mentally ill. I'm fucking mentally ill. I have a lot of mental illnesses, and guess what? I don't do. that shit.
Right.
It's not, you know, I mean, it's just like, it's something that, because if you are, like, I know that, I think it's a way to, when people talk about someone being stupid, it's so that they can feel superior, I think, to that person. Like, I'm not racist, and
Agreed.
I'm not a stupid racist. And it's like, okay, neither is a lot of other, like, neither are all the politicians that are, like,
Right.
you know, just because they say dumb shit doesn't mean that they're dumb. They're saying perfectly calculated shit to manipulate people, and that's not a dumb thing. But also, I think if you're saying, like, white supremacy is mental illness, like, it's a way, because if someone's mentally ill, you can't fix them, right? You can't make them not mentally ill anymore. They're just mentally ill. They have to be the ones to seek help. They have to be the ones that, and so it's a way to be like, I wash my hands of this. You're mentally ill. And so
There's
it's
no
like, yeah, there's no help for this person. They're
Right.
mentally ill. And it's like, fuck off. Like,
Well, I'm sorry, go on.
it's just, it's all of us, you know? So many people are complicit in it, unintentionally even sometimes, you know? And that sucks, but, like, just being like, oh, they're mentally ill, or, oh, they're stupid, and that's why. It's like, it's just a way for you to get out of doing the work.
Yeah.
To, like,
Well, and I feel like it's not much further. I mean, like, I'm sorry. You can say more?
I was just going to say, like, the work, I understand, like, it's overwhelming to think about doing the work. And it's not something that can be undone by one person.
Right. And spoiler,
So it feels,
it's never done.
Correct. And
It's
it feels
never finished.
overwhelming, and it feels like too much. So it's easier to cop out. I get that. But copping out, if you're white and you cop out, it just means that you've copped out. If you're not white and the white people around you have copped out, you could die. Like, it's not like, you know, it's not about that. Like, I don't know. Like, I had a friend one time that was like, we were talking about, like, you know, like, cops killing black people. And they were like, how do we stop it? And I was like, die. I was like, stand between black people. And I was like, take the bullets. I was like, that's how you stop it. I was like, it's not pretty.
Right.
It's not going to be nice, you know? And it's like, I understand, like, and I don't mean that literally, like,
Vote
everyone,
blue.
huh?
Vote blue.
Blue no matter who, baby.
Blue lives matter.
Anyway, what were you going to say, though?
Well, I think a slightly different flavor of what you were talking about
Yeah.
is, and I feel is more insidious. Mm-hmm. Because I feel like it underlies a lot of liberal,
Yeah. Ouch.
especially white middle class thinking.
Yeah.
Or
White middle
by,
class thinking can be dangerous in general.
yes, and by underlies I mean, like, it's not conscious, but it's the
Correct,
idea
yeah.
that, like, it's ignorance, and if
Yeah.
you call it ignorance, the implication is, oh, this person just needs to be made aware of the facts.
Correct.
We've seen that's been disproven 100 times over,
Yeah.
and I feel like even in a post-Trump
Yeah.
America, you cannot make this argument in good conscience because people have all the facts.
Yeah.
Facts
Right.
are readily available.
So available.
There's no
I mean, there is misinformation out there. There's a
Yes.
lot of misinformation, but the facts are still available.
right.
And you can ask for help in deciphering.
People to this day purposely deny the Holocaust happened.
Can you imagine?
People to this day deny that the Civil War had anything to do with slavery, and that, and you know, I know that this is a thing that comes up now and again. Is that there were black soldiers that fought for the Confederacy,
Yeah, no shit.
right?
Like, I think, yeah, like, I mean, it's like the idea that, like, someone can be educated out of racism. The idea that, like, educated people aren't racist. The idea that, like, if you're smart, you won't be racist.
Basically, yeah,
is so... It is insidious. It's so insidious, and it's so hateful. But again, it's a fucking cop-out. It's a fucking cop-out. It's like,
oh, yeah, 100%.
I'm smart, so I don't even have to think about racism.
Yeah.
Bitch, you are racist.
But there is also feel like there's two versions of this in particular that I have experienced. One is that, like, oh, I was born into a liberal middle-class family. You know, we always treat people the same.
Right, yeah.
Okay, I don't see color, whatever. You know that trope of that middle-class white person, liberal white person.
Yeah.
Then there's the usually raised poor white person who was raised around a lot of racism, with a lot of racism, and then got themselves out of it.
Yeah.
To a certain extent, you know, whatever that means, either monetarily or just geographically remove themselves from that situation. And because they were able to do that, feel like, you know, like, well, and, you know, to be fair, that's a lot of work. That's not necessarily easy, you know. It's a lot of risk probably that person took. And, you know, you risk severing ties with family and whatnot.
Correct. Yeah.
But then it's like, yeah, I could do it, you know, and people who are choosing to stay in that are idiots.
Yeah. Right.
And the staying in that isn't, I mean, you know, I think part of what it's implied is the poverty, but specifically we're talking about the trope of, like, yeah, it's kind of bootstrapping, you know?
Yeah. Right.
Anyway, I don't know.
Yeah, there, like, so I grew up in this. Also, I kind of hate when, like, I think it's really I don't know. I get torn because I grew up in the South, and the South is very racist. The problem is that it isn't pretending that it's not.
Right.
And everywhere else is pretending that it's not. It's not that the South is more racist. It's just that it doesn't hide it as much. Yeah. But I do hate when people are like, the South isn't more racist than and I'm like, okay, we don't need to, like, I feel like it's a little bit, I feel like it gets said a little bit incorrectly. Like, it's worse in the Midwest or it's worse in the North because, like, it's all, like, microaggressions. And I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't say that's worse. I would say that's different.
Also, I wouldn't say it's only microaggression.
Right. Well, no, I'm not saying. I'm misquoting, of course. I just mean, like, it's like the language is always like,
yeah, right.
You think it's bad in the South, you know? And I'm like, yes, I've lived there. It's very bad in the South. I don't.
Apples and oranges. It's all bad. It's all fucked.
Correct.
No one is winning.
But something that, like, when I grew up there, it's a lot of. So, when you grow up with really racist family, and then you become an adult, you move away, you start, just to be clear, my parents are not the racist ones. Not to this degree, at least. Just my siblings. You start to, like, and I think this is where the confusion starts. You start to acknowledge, you know, you start to learn something, you know, you listen, your ideas change, and you go back and you visit, and other people's they're just, they're the same or even worse than before, and you're like, what happened? You know. And I remember I was visiting one time, and this like clicked something for me. So I was visiting my childhood friend and her like cousin or something. Okay. So I was visiting my friend and her like cousin or whatever was like a little kid the last time I saw them, and they were like 16 or 17 when I was visiting. And they were talking to their mom, and their mom was telling some story, and they were like, and like, this is like an interesting, like, it's going to be, I don't know, whatever. So they were talking about this thing, and they were like talking about they were there, and then they were like, this one person was there, and they were black, and her kid was like, why do you need to do that? And she like basically called her mom out. She's like, why are you singling? And the mom was like, I don't see how that's a problem. Like, it's not bad that he's black or whatever. She's like, right, but why like only him? Like, why are you only saying like his race? And I was like, I don't understand. I don't know what the big deal is,
right.
you know? And I'm like, oh, like it clicked one day because, you know, like, that thing that happens, it's like there's like a commercial, a Disney commercial, and it shows like a black family doing something or something, you know, there's like a commercial, you know, and it's a black family, and they're like, oh my God, I'm so happy that it's like representation of a black family. And someone's like, oh my God, why are you pointing out that they're black?
Right.
That's racist.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, it's because you did it. You did the work. You realize that, you know, just calling out someone's race is racist. So if you just stop doing that, then you're not racist anymore.
Right.
And then you stop. And I'm like, oh,
right.
right.
I don't
yeah.
see color.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, but that's not like, it's not seeing color. It's not, it's like the problem isn't stating when someone is a black person. That is fine. It's fine to acknowledge that. It's that's the only time you're stating anyone's like.
Yeah. You're only noting when someone is not white. Correct.
Yes, exactly. You're just like, but like you don't do any work past that. Mm-hmm. And you stop because you did the work, so you're done now.
Yeah.
And so you're like, if I don't see color, but the thing is, you do see color, and it's okay to see color.
You can't not.
Correct. Yeah. You also see disability.
Yes.
I mean, you don't see all disability, but you can see disability.
It's also not your fault.
Yeah.
So much of it is just hardwired in the human animal.
100%. Yeah.
That we clock all these things because we come from predator prey ancestors who are assessing their safety at every moment.
Yeah.
When encountering another being.
And you've been ingrained with concepts of safety being something that it might not necessarily be.
Yes.
You know, like this means danger, this means, you know, and that's where the problems arise. Like we're all working with sort of like, you know, biological tendencies, you know, but we also have like societal problems or societal like prejudices ingrained into our thinking. But it's
also not our fault.
Well, I was going to say this is where it drives me nuts when people are like, I'm not racist. I'm like, it's not about not being racist, and to like pat yourself on the back and be like, I'm not racist. It means you're not doing the work. Because if you just say I'm not racist,
it means you think you have no work to do.
Exactly. And you have to be actively anti-racist. And that means make yourself uncomfortable. That means thinking about shit. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Like, I don't want to like, I don't like confrontation. Like, I'm not going to like just walk up to like someone and be like, hey, I heard you were saying that. No. Also, I don't think it's always helpful. Yes. I think there's a time and a place. Like, there's all kinds of stuff. It doesn't mean that you have to start fights with people. It doesn't mean that you have to be the one making all the noise. It just means to listen. And like, sometimes people are going to be like, white people are not like, white people are inherently not good. And if you're like, wow, that's a really shitty thing to say, or like, that's a really racist thing to say, it's not. The reason why white people are inherently not good people is because they can't be. because our society is set up to advance white people and harm people of color.
Regardless of
It doesn't matter what kind of love is in your heart. It doesn't matter what kind of, mindset you have. It doesn't matter what kind of peace, love, and joy you want to spread in the world. Society is set up so that white people are always going to harm people of color,
yes, and
non-white
regardless
people.
of their ability,
regardless of their intent or anything. That's how it's
Yes.
set up, and you have to actively work against that, meaning you have to make yourself uncomfortable. You have to push.
Yeah,
you
and
know,
this is why it doesn't. This is why we're still here. Is
Yeah,
that
right.
You have to risk your privilege,
Yes,
and that
yes,
means
correct.
things like, oh, you might. You sense this, and this is why you're scared to do it.
Yeah.
You may get reprimanded
Yes.
if you stand up for
Yes.
a person of color
Yes.
or anyone
Yes.
who doesn't have the set of privileges that
Right.
you were born into.
Likewise, well, I mean, and it's even more dangerous sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And it's not just about race, I mean, it is, but it's not, like the saying, like, the only good cop is a dead cop. That has more than one meaning, because cops who actively stand up and say, like, hey, this thing isn't right, this thing is like
Yep.
fucked up, they literally get murdered by each other.
They get fragged.
They get
They get Serpicoed.
Yeah,
as,
they get Serpicoed. Or they get let go. They get put in they are not, like, the reason why, like, I want to, like, people be like, defund the police doesn't mean abolish the police. Oh, okay, then abolish the police. Because the reason why is because it is literally set up to where, people are like, there's some people that are good cops. And I'm like, yeah, and then they die.
Correct.
If you go in and you actively work, like, this is what we're talking about, though.
Why are you defending police?
Correct.
Why do you feel the need
I know.
in this
I hate it so
day and
much.
age?
I know. We have
What are
video. We have active video all the time. Oh, this is another thing I was going to say. This is what I was going to say.
Okay. Testify.
When you were like, when people, like, if they just knew enough, or if they just,
Yes.
like, here's the thing, and I'm going to say this, and this is not, I mean, I'm saying this, yes, but I'm saying this because I have heard so many, like, Black people say this, and so many, like, people I know, people on the internet. Stop. When you see a video of a Black person or a person of color getting killed, especially by police, but in any capacity, and you're like, I must share this because people need to be made aware. Stop. For two reasons. One, because if you have anyone in your life who's Black, you are traumatizing them, re-traumatizing them over and over again. And two, while you think you're exposing racist people to the light, what you're actually doing is desensitizing them
Correct.
to Black death.
Correct.
And we do not want to do that. If someone doesn't care about it, showing them that is not going to change their mind. They're still not going to care about it. Don't share that shit. Ever. Stop.
We're
If
already
you've been-
desensitized
Correct,
enough
yeah.
from popular media.
Yes. Stop doing it. And if you're like, okay, but nope, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter who.
No, I hate it.
It makes me physically ill. I watched one video one time only because I wanted to know how bad it actually was. And I was like, never mind. That was so, I felt sick to my stomach.
Yeah.
It made me ill. I was like, I never want to watch.
How many times have you seen George Floyd?
Oh my God. It was so hard because, like, I would, like, scroll past videos and then people would just be posting screenshots of it. I'm like, please stop. Like, I don't want to see this. And it's not because it's like, I don't want to be reminded that this happens. No, it's like, I literally feel sick. Like, you're showing
It's
someone's
also like,
death.
have some, I don't know, man. This is where I'm getting on a high horse, and
Yeah.
it's about education and stuff. So I'm on the verge of sounding like a thing I just critiqued. But
Hell yeah, baby. Hypocrisy 101.
I don't know. Like, if you say you care about this stuff, try to do some reading about media literacy and critical analysis, and like even, to a certain extent, like, I mean, I guess it falls into all those categories too.
Yeah,
but it's like, if you're that, I mean, I can see it in my head right now, and because you're not seeing George Floyd's face.
No!
You're seeing the fucking murderer on top of him because it was shot by another police officer.
Yeah.
Right? So the face you're remembering is not George Floyd's. It's his killer.
Yeah. Right.
And that's the power of that image is that, regardless of intent in sharing it, if you're seeing it multiple times, that's the face you remember.
Yeah.
And I'll not try to, this is another tangent, but I got so tired during the W era of how many, lefty artists would use, like, I remember going to see La Tigra perform, and they kept using his face, like when they were, it was some song that was critical, right?
Yeah.
But I'm like, why are you showing me his face? The king is dead. Long live the king. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Stop it.
It's similar to, is it, oh God, I don't remember what his name is, but is it Barack something who...
Barack Hussein Obama?
Stop. No, not Barack. B-R-O-C-K, Brock.
Okay.
I'm saying don't do that because of what I'm about to talk about.
Okay.
A rapist.
Oh, right.
And they
the promising young man?
Yeah. Or, yeah, whatever. And they just, like, they're like, when we talk about rape, let's, I'm like, they're, like, oh, you want to, like, the definition, I don't know, basically, like, because they didn't want, like, his life didn't need to be ruined. So people are like, share this image to show, like, what a rapist looks like because, like, blah, 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 whatever. And I'm like,
nope.
Do you understand how awful and triggering it is? If someone did that with, like, my rapist, I would kill myself.
Right.
And I'm not being funny. Like, if someone was like, oh, like, share this because, no, that's not what you do. Don't fucking share the photo. And I'm not saying, like, share the victim's face. That's not what I'm saying. It's just, like, you need to find a better way to do this than to, like, because you're just, like, seeing a man's face next to the word rapist.
Right.
And people being like, what an own. Fuck off. No, I don't need that. I don't need to see that. Like, have you ever been sexually assaulted? You know, if you have, like, I'm sure that you don't want to see anyone that has done that all over your shit, all over your feed. And people love jumping on that high horse and being like, share this image to share what a rapist looks like. And I'm like, you're not doing what you think you're doing. And it's not helpful. And it sucks.
Look at, because it's easy to...
And
it's
then you
not
just,
that complicated. Look at what happened to Kyle Rittenhouse. Everybody knows his fucking name. The right
everybody
has made
knows
him
his
a
fucking
hero.
name. And Elon Musk in this $8 verified thing, he's now verified on Twitter.
Of course he is.
And like, and verification means that your shit gets priority. It means like, yeah, it's just like, y'all. Anyway. Not going down the rabbit hole that we just went down. I want to say, huh?
Like and subscribe.
No, I want to say, like, this is why it's important to sit back sometimes and not give your opinion. This is why it's important to sit back sometimes. This is why movies like Smoke Signals are important, because it's a movie about indigeneity that's not centered around pain, but is centered around learning to forgive. Mm-hmm. It's not centered around violence. It's centered around how to come back from violence. You know.
Right.
Likewise, there's a movie. about Emmett Till that's coming out.
Oh yeah.
And it's a movie that is, basically about his mother, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And the intent in this movie was to center it around Black joy. So they're telling a heartbreaking story, but they're saying it begins and it ends with Black joy. And I think it's important for us when we're like, if you're like, how do I do things? Like, how do I, if I'm not supposed to share the pain, if I'm not supposed to share the violence, what am I supposed to do? Share the fucking joy, man. You don't have to be a part of it. You don't need to be a part of it. Just witness it and know that it's there.
Yes.
Retweet it, share it on Facebook. Don't add comments. Don't give your 2 cents. Share the joy, and acknowledge that joy is there. Because if all you do is think of marginalized people, of BIPOC people as pain, then you're doing the thing of like white saviorism. Like,
at best,
I need to come in and save them. I have to. It's my job. It's not your job. It's your job to sit back and hand them the microphone. It's your job to stop and listen. Like, sometimes, like, the need, because acknowledging that you're the one with the power, it means that you're like, okay, well, if I have the power, I need to be the one that's saying and doing and all this stuff. No, what you need to do is you need to have that power, and you need to say, how do I help someone else get visibility with this?
It.
Yes.
Which is tricky.
Yes, correct.
And you're going to fuck up.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and that's, I think, a lot of white folks, well-meaning white folks, are terrified of fucking up.
And I want to...
You have to get past that.
And one thing, you're going to fuck up.
Yes.
You are going to fuck up.
Yes.
The important thing is saying, hey, I fucked up, and I'm going to try to do better again.
Correct.
And then do that.
And listen to people telling you what you did wrong.
Yes.
And own it. Not
correct. And
get defensive.
And don't make a big deal about it. It's like okay, when you misgender someone.
Exactly.
What you're supposed to do is not be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. No, don't do that. Right. That's not what you're supposed to do. One, because it then puts the onus on the person you've misgendered to say, it's okay, it's no big deal. Which it even, what it is, is they were like, what's happening is internally, they're like, shut the fuck up. Stop making a big deal about it. I hate this. This is uncomfortable.
Correct.
What you need to do is say, like, if you didn't know and someone says, actually, these are their pronouns, mm-hmm. you would say, oh my God, thank you. I really appreciate that correction. Right. And then you would just correct yourself and move on. You wouldn't say, oh my God, I'm so sorry. No, just say thank you. And then, or if someone's like, oh, my pronouns are this, and you're like, oh my God, I forgot. Thank you so much for reminding me. Like, I really appreciate that. And then, you just go on and you try to do better. Or if, you can be like, oh shit, I'm so sorry. Like, and then you just correct yourself and that's it. What the fuck? You don't keep apologizing. Right. You don't, and if you keep fucking up, at some point, they're just going to stop being around you. Yeah, right. So, just try to do better. But, like, that's the thing. Like, you're not supposed to be like, oh, my God, I'm so sorry. Oh, my God. Because you're making it about you. You're making it about your fuck up. And correct. What it is that you messed up and it puts someone else in an uncomfortable position. And then you feel bad about that.
Right.
And that bad feeling, nothing's going to take that away.
Right.
You just kind of have to sit. And that's the discomfort we're saying you have to sit with.
Correct.
I feel bad because I fucked up. But you can't get absolution from the person you hurt.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you can't say, hey, I just did a fuck up, so you have to make me feel better.
Right.
Because you just hurt them. Anyway.
Guess that'll wrap it up.
Yeah. On that note... would you recommend?
Sure. I mean, I can't not, as one of the only native
correct
films.
Yeah.
I thought it, as a film, not one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's not super complicated.
I've far
it's not
more enjoyed Powwow Highway.
Agree.
It's
Yeah.
a different kind of story,
Totally.
even though superficially it has a lot in common. Anyway, we'll talk to you later.
Yeah, watch it. I would recommend. But yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's a not complicated thing. I think if you're looking for something that's not super heavy,
Yeah.
that is representational of indigenous people, yeah, definitely give it a watch.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. Become a patron
Do it now.
if you're not already.
To our elders who teach us of our creation and our past, so we may preserve Mother Earth for ancestors yet to come, we are the land.
This is dedicated to our relatives before us, thousands of years ago, and to the 150 million who were exterminated across the Western Hemisphere in the first 400 years' time, starting in 1492.
To those who have kept their homelands, and to the nations extinct due to mass slaughter, slavery, deportation, and disease unknown to them, and to the ones who are subjected to the same treatment today. To the ones who survived the relocations and the ones who died along the way. To those who carried on traditions and lived strong among their people. To those who left their communities by force or by choice and through generations no longer know who they are.
To those who search and never find, to those that turn away the so-called non-accepted, to those that bring us together, and to those living outside keeping touch, the voice for many.
To those that make it back to live and fight the struggles of their people, to those that give up and those who do not care, to those who abuse themselves and others, and those who revive again, to those who are physically, mentally, or spiritually incapable by accident or by birth. To those who seek strength in our spirituality and ways of life, and those who exploit it, even our own. To those who fall for the lies and join the dividing lines that keep us fighting amongst each other.
To the outsiders who step in, good or bad, and those of us who don't know better. To the leaders and prisoners of war, politics, crime, race, and religion, innocent or guilty.
To the young, the old, the living, and the dead, to our brothers and sisters and all living things across Mother Earth, and her beauty we've destroyed and denied the honor that the Creator has given each individual.
The truth that lies in our hearts, all my relations.